to add that you guys have an application for Mark Manning. He's interested in being an alternate. He is here tonight. He is in the audience.
Raise your hand, Mark.
So he
Didn't have to be your right hand. There you go.
He's currently a member of the ZBA. Was just recently appointed as a full-term member. He was an alternate for a while, so he's now interested in wanting to be on the planning board as well. He appointed as a full-term member. He was an alternate for a while, so he's now interested in wanting to be
Who's talking?
on the planning board as well. He appointed as a full-term again
That's you.
member. He was an alternate.
It's a very slow echo.
I think you've made your point.
What you doing over there?
You can get some feedback.
Yeah, I think,
Is it recording?
yeah, it's recorded.
I think that's what's most important.
It said it was recording. And it did record because it played you right back.
That is an awful good ventriloquist.
Yeah, you were talking and your lips weren't even moving.
I know. Oh,
So,
I heard that all twice.
yes, we're very clear on that. But thank you, Mark, for being here. We'll, when we get down to that section, we'll take a look at reviewing.
Yep. So next change on the agenda, I just want to point out under new business, it's 2A, case 2222. So voluntary lot mergers were for a time placed at the top of the agenda. So since voluntary lot mergers don't have a public hearing and they don't involve any public input, it's put down under new business. The top section is usually reserved.
I wonder why it didn't have its own little box.
Yeah. It's usually reserved for public hearing applications, and then the bottom half is sort of like board stuff. Just so that you know, in case you're wondering where that planner review was, it's under there. I also wanted to add under 3C, a discussion regarding House Bill 1661. I did meet with town council this morning. So I got some explanations for all that stuff. And under 4, I wanted to add an A. And Tricia provided you with copies of the legal dates that are coming up for deadlines and such, just for your information. That's it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we accept the agenda of August 16th, 2022 as amended.
All right, do we have a second? All right, Bill seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
And Jessica, thank you for doing the research on these other 2 earth materials places.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That way it's clear what went down.
Okay, so first
Should be-
case up, P 2214 Varney Engineering LLC, agent for Green Oak Realty Development.
Mr. Chairman, I will be recusing myself. I'll let you use that.
Excusing myself as well.
And Tom is also recusing himself.
We have enough for.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need 4. So, yeah. you
so
know.
we're good.
What's that?
We're good.
I would appoint Lee.
Yeah, so we do need to appoint Lee though, just for the sake of filling that spot, filling a spot, so.
Oh, for the tie.
So, hi,
Good evening, board. Joshua Tebow, Varney Engineering. Unfortunately, it looks like it's only me tonight, so I will do my best to
you are on the hot seat.
to answer what I can and bring a list home to Tom and Deb.
All right, so if it please the board, we have, when we last met, we kind of had you leave here with some tasks to do.
Correct.
those tasks have not, some of them have not been done yet. And I'm not sure that we need to spend, I'm not sure it's the best use of the board's time to kind of rehash over a whole bunch of stuff that we've been beating on here, but just to kind of highlight a couple of these, we have the additional escrow funds have not been submitted, and I realize that's not coming out of your pocket. There was supposed to be I think Tom Barney was going to create a reclamation bond estimate. We have not seen that. And I'm not sure that the lack of action was intentional, but the cease and desist that was issued regarding the operation of the contractor's yard that was occurring there that required a submission to the ZBA, the appeal period has expired. And so that's kind of so that's not going to happen now, unfortunately. So there's a couple of key items there that I think is kind of handcuffing this board in really making a lot of progress. So so I would entertain a motion from the board if you were interested in basically putting this off for another month while they can finish getting their.
I'll make a
required-
motion. I'll make a motion that we continue to the next meeting.
One question, do they have all the information that they know that they need?
Yes.
Then okay, I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Lee. Any further discussion?
Just curious why the loss in momentum on this. Any insight?
I'll just keep my mouth shut for now, but
So
I mean,
so in
there
other
is-
words, there
I
may be
mean-
some insight, but he's not willing to share it.
I can just give two quick updates. The driveway permit has been submitted. We just was hoping to get a signature from Keith tonight, but obviously that's not happening. And same with the AOT. They just asked for an updated groundwater sampling plan. So those two items are in motion. As far as the bonds go, that is more Keith's issue. And as far as the few issues with the waivers that I saw that's also his lawyers, issues. So hopefully by next month, we can get a few more of these
Okay,
for all
and
of this.
is Tom Barney, is he working on putting a reclamation estimate together? Do you know, or?
I believe so. I know that he updated the plans with all the slopes that Keith wanted, hopefully the new proposed area and whatnot. So there should be, that should also be in the works. I have my list still from last meeting too. I'll make sure to go over it all with Tom.
Okay, all right. Okay, and I think that there were some comments in this planner review as well that are worthy of looking at. And I would strongly recommend a phone call to Jessica as well. There's some of this, and I don't want to get into all the details of it, but the whole blasting and crushing is all over the spectrum in 2 to 4 times per season, per year. I think what we need to do is let's iron this all down and get it down to, look, we all kind of agreed it would be no more than 5 times
yeah.
per year.
I did.
Let's
talk
take
with-
all that other vague language out of all the drawings and all the other comments, and let's just nail it down with straight up fact.
Yeah, I saw that in the noise impact study as well. It will all eventually say 5 times a year, no more than 5 times.
Excellent. Okay, well, we do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion here? Comments? No?
Can I
Oh,
just make a comment?
you may.
If you can just mention to Tom that when he submits that bond to allow some review time for the town engineer to take a look at it and just, ensure, it's adequate. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. You've missed all the fun. So motion second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Keith, we've continued to next month.
I figured as much.
Okay.
So I busted ass to get up here from Gloucester, Mass.
Oh,
Can we just clarify the meeting date of September 17th, I think it is?
Did we get anything done on the list?
September
Smaller list.
20.
20th, so it's continued to
Jessica,
September
come up with
20th.
anything new?
Okay.
Nothing new, no.
Did you hear that, Keith? September 20th.
All right.
Sure.
Okay. So we have Scott and Tom returning to the table. So next case, P 22-24. Cynthia,
Al.
thank you. Cynthia Balsius, and applicant for Rodora Properties LLC. This is regarding a final minor site plan, so we initiate the completeness review first.
Sure. So your planner review might actually state P 2214 by accident.
Yeah, a few.
So in case you have to,
Okay, let's make a motion to change that. That way I think we do it properly, or is that,
I don't think you need a motion, it's just a group.
okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that,
it's just an error.
But for the record,
Yeah.
definitely it was, yes, it's case 22-24 as listed on the agenda, but not on the planner review sheet.
okay.
Um, So on the second page under plan review, there were some items noted that either needed to be addressed or added to the plan and application.
Yep, and that stuff can just be added. That doesn't really have to do with completeness. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like what was submitted was a pretty solid application.
Okay,
Just some stuff missing off the plan, that's all.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, on case P 22-24, as amended there, I move to accept the plan as complete, application as complete, I'm sorry.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second that.
Seconded by Bill. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Okay, so if you would announce yourself and
Sure. My name is Cindy Balsius. I'm here with my sister Jill Royer. We are owners of the property. And the business is Stony Ridge Environmental, which has been open at 233 Prospect Mountain Road, literally a quarter mile down the road for the last 15 years. Recently, I'm trying to downsize a bit, and I had started a ranch last year up on a lot on the corner of Kiana Road and Chamberlain Road, where it goes to Class 6. And recently finished it, and someone said, well, why don't you just move your business there? And I thought about the winter and plowing, and I wanted to get my horses up to my house because I live up there off of Kiana Road, and I'm like, yeah, that kind of sounds good right now. So that's when it started. I put the barn where my existing business is up for sale. I didn't think it would ever sell so quick because I thought I was on, actually, I was like, oh, you missed it again, Cindy. And no, I put it on and it's so quick, and then the intensity and everything went boom, boom,
And then it
boom.
got fun.
Oh my God, here I am. Here I am. So what I proposed is I put up an existing 26 by 40 ranch. It's 1,000, I think 32 square feet. It's a little bigger than what I was in. I think it was about 930 square feet. And all I want to do is move the desk in and run my office there until I retire, really. I had put in a new septic system last year. All the outside site utilities got done, but I was waiting for the contractor. The foundation was in, everything. So it's got a new septic system and there's an existing well. You can see it on the plan, but I didn't put the setbacks around. It was existing well. Just use the same one. There used to be a trailer on that lot. And there's an existing garage that had been there too. So the decision was to try to move up, basically take that business and just put it in right over there. You know, I felt like we weren't going to cause any more traffic at all than what we had initially had just for my employees. It's not open to people that just come in and out. It's just we're out in the field all the time doing wetlands, wildlife and soils work. So we're hardly there. And that's why it isn't a business that's open, you know, for the general public. It's just closed. We just do our, you know, reports and send it out and whatnot. We have, I showed on the plan, and I did the plan, so I'm the responsible party for it. We show on the plan, I put 5 parking spaces. I think based on the calculation in the report, I probably need 4, but I always, you know, have more parking for my people. So one is in an existing field area, and I'll just add gravel there and make it gravel parking. And the other 2 spaces are there already, right in front of the existing garage and driveway. The utilities were already there because it was an existing trailer, but I did get a new pole out of this.
Public service up there.
Yeah, not a new transfer switch or whatever they called it up there. They hold those tight evidently. What else as far as that goes? When I put up the ranch, John had me meet the current setbacks to Chamberlain to 25 feet because the trailer actually was tucked up at least 10, 15 feet more towards that wall, so. And there are no wetlands on this lot except for the boundary of the brook that is actually shown up in the little subsection, and I can stamp that as the wetlands on the site, okay? So I can add that easily with my notes to the plan.
Okay.
I don't, if there's, my sign, in the narrative, I talked about putting my sign, which is tiny. It's 6 inches by about 30 inches. It's the same one I've used. I'm just gonna put it on the corner of the house. It's not lit, it's just an old fashioned looking sign, that's it.
I don't think that's going to be an issue with the size, certainly.
Yeah.
It should be,
No.
it's under 24. Well, this can't have 24 out there, but it's gonna be well under it.
Oh, as far as outside lights, I have one outside safety spotlight outside the front patio doors, and I have a light LED over the entranceway for the front door there. And because it just got wired, it meets current code, which includes the CO2 detector and whatever other smoke detectors that there. And I did read the fire chief's report, and he would like a 10-pound fire extinguisher, which I don't have a problem. I have a smaller one, but a bigger one's fine. So do you guys have questions for me?
So
It's
realistically, you're
about as
putting
no
it,
brainer as they get.
yeah, realistically, you're putting a desk in your house so you can work out of it. with a
Yeah.
couple of- Yeah, I think probably that's maybe more of a waste of the board's time than anything.
But but I do want to take a look at some of the planner comments. So being a business, obviously, is handicap concerns and making sure that you accommodate the handicap.
So I have a question for that, Mr. Chairman, because it's not an open office that public can go to. And to be honest, and I'm not being discriminatory, the kind of work we do, I cannot hire a handicapped person.
I think also the number of people
Yeah, I think-
that are there, you are below the
Way below
ADA
the
requirements.
Oh, okay, all right, good.
The height and stories of all structures on the site are missing.
I can give you that. I had it on my ZBA application, but I didn't have it on this one.
Yeah, that'd be
Sorry.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, the protective radius of the well.
I can add that on the plan, no problem.
Location of the proposed sign, just a little arrow pointing
Yep, I
to
can
sign
do
goes
that.
here. The wetlands we already discussed.
Yep.
Location and type of light fixtures. So I have a thing with lighting. Yeah. Well, you have a thing too.
I do.
3000 Kelvin is, the coloring of the light that the board likes to see.
That'll be low.
We can't order you to do that,
Yeah.
but when I look at the 3 parking spaces that are, away, is there going to be any lighting for there? And I realize that you're only open to 4:30, but
Yeah.
let's face it, the dead of winter, it's pretty dark out of 4:30.
Sure. Yeah, on my garage, on the corner right there. I don't have one there now, but I can easily put a spotlight out there to there.
Okay.
That being said, then it's dark sky
Well,
compliant.
I'm not, yeah, I certainly do. And, we're out, if you've ever been up there, it's out in the open and I'm not a big outside light person. I live
Yeah.
in Alton for the stars and everything like that, but I do understand any safety concerns. So,
Yeah, and that looks like it's probably about 60 feet from the garage to that parking area. give or
Even if you
take.
just put some
And-
little solar ones, if it gets you from 4:30 to 6 o'clock, you're probably
Okay.
good,
yeah.
you know?
all right. I'm a lot better with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the seal and signature of the professional assisting with the preparation. That would be you.
me. I don't know which seal you want me to use. I have a couple to choose from.
I thought it was just your first day.
One on each corner.
Yeah, so I mean, other than that, the lighting was the only thing that had really jumped out at me. So. Anybody else?
Yeah, just a
Snodgrass, the whole
question.
place Seems to be.
Is that,
Snodgrass.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I bought that like in 14, bought that piece.
Okay. And
Beautiful.
you own the,
I own all the way down, I own the whole road.
okay, because I logged that back about 20
Did
years
you?
ago.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay,
It's his fault.
yep,
So, yeah, I know, I was gonna speak about the wetlands down there. I didn't run into any down there and we logged it. We logged it in the summer.
Doug, you had a
Yeah,
question?
question, are you intending to still have 3 to 4 employees in the facility at this? point?
yeah, that's the limit that I myself want to do. I found I can manage that many employees.
So no expansion from there.
No, I'm going the other way, that's why I said.
Okay. Anything else from board? The hours of operation, the confirmation, because I'd mentioned already 4:30, but 8 to 4:30 or,
And you want those on the plan, I saw that in your notes, okay.
Does that leave you wiggle room?
Yeah, that's what we usually work,
Yeah,
if we work
Because then you're
long.
just stuck to those days and hours and if you.
We don't want the 431
Earlier.
police coming up there and
No.
getting you.
Why don't I put 8 to 5 on there?
there you go.
That's fine.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Safety first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep,
that I was getting at.
okay.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's.
Anything else from board? I'll entertain a motion.
No, you won't. Public.
Oh, I will
Sorry.
entertain.
Don't mean to tell you what to do, sorry.
Thank
but-
you. Yeah. So, yes, the public, any comments from the public in this case? Hearing none, I'll close the public session. Now I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, on case P 22-24, existing proposal, Rodera Properties LLC to approve the plan with conditions precedent, and what other ones on there? Conditions precedent.
You guys should probably do active and substantial development as well. Come up with
Okay,
some
well,
thresholds.
it's done, isn't it? Okay, so
You have to
we
have
have
your-
24
you have
months
to have
to,
your sign hung within 12 months.
oh, 12 months? Okay, that's fine.
All right.
I was gonna give you 24, but he's a tough guy.
All right. Okay, so we have a motion.
I'll second. Oop, go ahead. I'll second. it.
Brock seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Retirement, what an idea.
That's it. Good night.
Take care.
Thank you.
Looking for a career change?
Okay. Moving on to other business, old business, Alternative Housing Committee update.
Okay, well, we've been really working at this, and I think poor Tara, might be driving her a little bit crazy because we're having a hard time settling into a groove. Would that be a good way to put it? And so it's gonna basically be to the Board of Selectmen. They're gonna give a permit to operate, and it's gonna be an annual permit. At this point, we're thinking, correct me, just jump in if I'm
This is short-term.
short term.
rentals
That's basically where the
specifically.
thrust has been.
Yeah, we got that dropped in our lap. and
Yeah,
we had to-
And we just kind of focused on that,
We've been
and
working on
that's it.
It's just that.
And so, Jess, would you feel free to add. Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, so at our next meeting, we're gonna go over the the proposed ordinance, and then we're gonna pass it along over to the ZAC committee. So we're pretty much ready to do that.
Wow. All right.
Then the ZAC committee can review it
Yeah,
again.
and the ZAC committee is about to start at the end of the month, right? The
Yes.
23rd, is it?
23rd.
23rd, I
I
think.
think it's
That's
23rd.
next week.
Yeah,
Next
well,
week, right?
yeah, it's almost the end of the month.
Already?
Yeah, the 23rd. That's pretty much it. We started going over open space subdivisions with Tara, starting to work on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the fact that you think you've got a proposed ordinance sketched out for short-term rentals is impressive. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
it's-
you've had good participation with the public as well on this?
Well, not as, we have some public people on the
People on the
committee,
committee.
and
yeah.
that's pretty much I mean, a couple of them might have floated in here and there, but basically it's just the committee that's, and a lot of them have interest in the ordinance.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
guess that's the polite way to put that.
Yeah, it's been great discussion. I mean,
It really has. It's been a good going through. I mean, it's just, but then every once in a while something will crop up and we say, oh,
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of legs to that. story.
there is. And I think we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible. And throw it in the selectman's lap, basically, because this is an ordinance, not a voted on policy or the law, if you want to call it as such. So,
But did you say it was an interim solution? Did I?
no, I didn't say interim at all.
Okay.
No,
all right.
no, if I did, I
No,
didn't mean
it's
to. So, yeah, that's basically where it's at. And we really didn't handle anything else other than this only.
Yeah. Right.
Nice job.
CIP committee update. They met.
CIP committee.
I think I think they've only met once and it was like
Yeah, so we met, we've actually met twice.
twice.
Yep. So we just met with Kelly Trundle from Park and Rec and with Scott Kinman, Public Works Director. So we met with them already. We have another meeting scheduled for August 25th. We're going to meet with Tim Broderick, school superintendent. And hopefully he has the opportunity to bring the school board chair and his facilities director.
Don't hold your breath.
So,
Because they usually don't play in the sandbox very good, those guys.
Yep, so we didn't have an opportunity to meet with them last year, so I'm really looking forward to meeting with them this year. And we have a couple other meetings lined up, and our big discussion this year is, facilities. So a lot of our committees are starting to mingle together now at this point. And that's pretty much it with CIP for right now.
All right. Master plan update.
Kelly?
We do have our master plan chair here. If you would like
Kelly,
to-
would you be so kind?
Hear that train whistle? You just got caught by it.
I thought you were here.
Kelly's doing a fabulous job sharing, by the way.
Kelly Sullivan. So we're actually meeting again tomorrow. The master plan committee is meeting tomorrow at 4 o'clock here in this room. We'll be reviewing the final draft of Chapter 3 Natural Resources and Chapter 5 Land Use and Action Plan with the planning board edits from the last meeting that we had with you all. And then we're going to review and discuss Chapter 6 Infrastructure and then that action plan as well. And that's where we're at with that.
What type
Almost
of
2 years in.
infrastructure are you contemplating?
We are really just gathering information about what is currently existing to see what we have. That's where we're at right
Okay.
now. And we're not making any plans or anything. So we're going to see what we have, see what the department heads, maybe said that they were looking for in the future or where they think they would need to be in the future. And we'll try to draft an action plan, just like we went over with the last chapter. That's what we do for every chapter. So we draft the chapter, we have an action plan for every item to go over. So that's where we're at.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Glad you were here.
Zach committee update. Zach is meeting for the first time
So
this week.
film at 11.
Stay tuned.
And then under new business, we have case P 22-22. And this is the voluntary merger of pre-existing lots. Jill Ann and Peter William Miltner, Senior. Did I get all that? So, and just to reiterate what Jessica said earlier, that this is actually kind of a no public aspect to this at all. The only thing that would ever stop this process would be if there were tax, in arrears, and that is not the case.
In the word voluntary is paramount because of the former merging lots together situation. So
Yeah.
that's imperative it being there.
So, so I'm not sure, this is kind of new to me in the sense that I'm not sure, other than the fact that they've met all of the voluntary lot merger standards. That I'm not sure how much more discussion we have on this.
So there were a couple of things. So there was one, what was it? Hold on a second.
I've got them both here too.
Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Sure. I am Peter Miltner.
Okay. Yeah, so those two items were the check for $20
Yes. to
made out to
BCRD.
BCRD, yep, and the original signed letter from the mortgage company.
That came at 11 o'clock this morning.
Perfect. Okay,
I guess they had people out. I've got two of them. One is from the VP of Compliance and Corporate Counsel, and the other one's Consumer Processing Lead. I don't know what you want.
yeah.
Both, you can have them.
One of them both. Okay.
Buffalo with paperwork,
Both,
if nothing
both is
else.
the safe answer.
That's it. You know.
Yeah, so other than those two items,
Looks good.
they appear to be all set. They went in front of the ZBA. We had to receive that equitable waiver for frontage and lot size.
Yes.
So they did receive that.
Yep.
And
A lot of the stuff was just turning the crank stuff.
I feel like he's all set.
And
Is
I
there any
assume we have to
construction on the
vote
property
this.
already, or is there?
No.
No.
Nothing.
They can-
We just wanted to put them together to make plans.
You do
to
vote
build
on
our
it?
house.
Yes.
Yep.
Didn't realize it was so much.
You want to make the motion, Doug?
On page 3, there's sort of,
So moved.
I'm gonna second that.
The boss.
The boss, I just didn't want to. I don't know if you wanted to see this before.
there's suggested.
Yeah.
So you could start reading like from that section. So the Alden Board hereby finds that language.
Okay, I make a motion that the Alton Planning Board approve case P 2222 for the voluntary lot merger application to merge lots 71, lots 36 and 108 at Alton Shores and Scott Drive for municipal regulation and tax purposes. No such merged parcel shall hereafter be separately transferred without subdivision approval.
And
So
I'm
we have a
gonna-
motion.
Second.
Okay.
Rock seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That should be the last hump you have to jump over.
That's it. Now
Leave tonight, make sure
Good luck.
date, sign, and print.
Will do. All right, next on the list was the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, which were just emailed out, I think.
Yeah, I didn't have time to
Yeah.
read them, so
So I think I'd like to
I'm
table
sure
that
they're
to
fine,
next.
but
I mean, they've been done. I just didn't have a chance to proofread, so
well, it's a little tough reading minutes.
A little dry.
A little dry, yeah.
So next item, correspondence for the board's review, board to motion to release the remaining stormwater drainage review escrow funds in the amount of $257.50 for Jeffrey Hurdle and Van E. Hurdle Senior, map 1593. That.
you guys make a motion on that?
I'll
one?
second that. Was that your motion?
Sure, that was my motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed?
Done.
Good. Done. All right. Next was memo dated August 3rd from Jessica Call, town planner, regarding contractors yard approvals for Alfred Draymont and John Jedry.
That was good just to see what everybody else, the hoops they jumped through. So the hoops are there.
Right.
And that's what I really want to do this for the board's comfort, to know what happened in the past.
It doesn't look like Jedry jumped through all the hoops,
I
so.
was just gonna say, there was a whole
Hasn't-
lot of hoop to jump
No,
through.
he hasn't yet. So this research has now stemmed me to have to reach out to Mr. Jedry to
Oh,
come
boy.
in for planning board approval.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
just so you know,
He's gonna send you a turkey at Christmas.
probably have many stacked up.
All right.
I'll be sick that day.
Okay, the next item on correspondence was House Bill 1661.
Where is he seeing that?
Right there.
I think I left my stuff left out.
I think.
I've.
You'll share.
Yeah, I,
Oh, look at that.
You got that memo?
there may be some nasty comments that I wrote when I reviewed it, so.
Great.
I don't know, this one didn't get well marked up.
So did you guys have a chance to review any of the materials I sent out on this and or the webinar that was put on by NHMA? Just trying to get a feel of
I went down through it, but I didn't.
where you guys are, if you have any knowledge of what took place or not.
Basically, no.
So do you guys all have this sheet in front of you?
Yep.
So that we're all working off the same sheet? Perfect.
Yeah, I got an extra one.
I got them all.
All right, so I'm just gonna go down the different sections. So section 70, training, doesn't really affect the board. It really was for the Office of Planning and Development, was mandated to have to create some type of some training materials. That's the word I was looking for. So there are opportunities. I'm going to send you guys a link that you can go on and sort of take a test to kind of see where your knowledge level is at. You have
cool.
the option to either print a certificate or not. You have to get at least 65% correct in order to receive a passing grade. You don't have to do the certificate. You can just take the test.
Surely hope it's suitable for framing.
On your own. You know,
You
and
coloring?
it doesn't, they don't keep track of the testing. They don't keep track of scores. It doesn't fall back on you negatively anytime in the future. Like there's nothing, it's just for your own purposes. So I'll send that along after. So that's what that is. Section 71, that's pretty much office related. So that doesn't really apply to you guys.
Yeah, I just want to bounce back to that section 70. The wording on that is not, it doesn't require us to do this, just so we're clear.
Right.
So
Right.
May receive
You
training.
may.
Optional, yeah.
Right.
you may
So-
take a test.
Right, so every year they have the annual planning and zoning conference, and you'll hear me every year go, okay, I got 2 seats open, let me know if you want to attend, things like that. That's sort of like the traditional training. That's the one that Tricia and I attend, every year. You could do that training, so it's not mandatory. It's helpful.
It's funny, the last few years, I had root canals all day.
Section 72, incentives. So what this, in a nutshell, what this means is if there is a municipality that has both ordinances for elderly housing and for workforce housing, which we do, we have our inclusionary zoning. The language, it's gonna force, if we don't change, if they're not the same, if they don't offer the same incentives, they need to be the same. Otherwise, come July 1st of next year, whatever applies for elderly housing is going to apply for the workforce housing automatically.
That's
So
quite
we
a,
can
that's quite a
either
benefit.
review our ordinances to make sure that they are the same, and that gives us the opportunity to throw it onto Zach and get things, on the ballot for March. Which I suggest that that's what we do. So John and I are going to review and see if they are the same, if they're different, and make proposed changes to Zach if they are.
I hope when we get to Zach that we're not like we were on the housing committee there, we kind of got overloaded and we got in a rut.
There's a lot this year. So
Yeah,
there's a
so
lot.
I want to
Zach's
make sure
gonna
that we
have
get
to
our stuff done.
prioritize.
That's
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying.
Yep.
This is where the fun
So
really
section
begins.
73, written findings. This one was wicked fun. So currently, so the reason the legislature put this in place was to streamline the facts that get talked about at a meeting to be included into the notice of decision. So then that way, if at a future time this goes to court for some reason, or, there's a judge that wants to review things, he can look at one document. He doesn't have to review minutes. It doesn't have to review anything else in the case file. There's one document to pull up that states, you know, what the board had agreed on in accordance with regulations.
How is a board going to do that, like on the cuff, like we do it? I mean, that's difficult.
Exactly. So there's gonna have to be some changes at the very end. On the section, on the planner review, to where I put that suggested language, you know, read this for the motion, then there's the conditions. There's gonna have to be a section over there that you guys are gonna have
Refers
to-
it back to this.
Right, so you're gonna have to state specific findings that you agree upon approving the application based on these facts.
Wow.
And so
Or
those,
we disapprove
right,
based on these facts.
right. And a
So-
quorum needs to agree with the findings.
What this does is makes it so nobody else has to do any work.
It's very, it puts a lot of work.
If it puts it on the board, but it like,
Yeah, and
it's
then
so
on
a
the
judge can
staff.
look at it and doesn't have to do anything. They can just
So
go,
that
okay,
it's,
it's all right here.
right, so it's all, it's all,
Laid right out for them.
yeah, it's all in one thing.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some, a learning curve to this.
Oh, I'm sure.
I have, like I talked to the attorney earlier, I feel like the ZBA might have a little bit easier go with this because they have worksheets to follow.
They've got a
In
great
their
system.
worksheets, they go through every criteria and each board member picks a criteria and states whether they feel like the application was applicable to that criteria or not. And they could just take that and throw it in the notice of decision. It's like they're already doing that, but we don't do that now. So there's gonna have to be,
Well, I have to keep notes, and then when we do an approval, it'll have to say, refer to these notes, and there's so many points on it, because to read it all into the record would be awful.
yeah. So it gives you examples like, the proposed subdivision, you know, meets the criteria for the minimum requirements of the land. You know, just so things like that, like the facts. It's not gonna be easy, but we're all gonna have to muddle through it the best we can until, you know, we nail it down. And town council realizes it's, you know, probably gonna take a good couple meetings to
It's optimistic.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's still a lot that I need to focus on with this. That's the fire alarm.
Sounds good to me.
Sure is. Did the same thing last night.
Can we do a 5-minute
Yeah,
recess?
we're gonna do a 5-minute recess so that Jessica can go
Put the fire out.
hack the box.
Low fire alarm.
All right, so here we are back. Thank you for that 5-minute recess.
All right, so
It's
I'm
5
gonna
minutes.
do some more homework on that section 73.
Yeah, I think the important part there is it makes a reference that you should consult with counsel multiple times in that section 73.
That was a little concerning. I think it's more towards disapprovals than approvals.
I suspect,
I would
yes.
say,
And we should probably see if we could form ourselves to try to get forms to ease the pain and be a tickler system to us to make sure we say the right things and ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Right, and to further that comment, so we talked about that, so this Office of Planning and Development is supposed to come up with a formatted, sort of worksheet to kind of go by, but yet it's gonna change each application.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But there's gonna be
it's kinda
some
hard to
basic
have a-
stuff that you
Yeah,
have, I
at
mean,
least some set of guidelines that they want you to go by to.
right,
right.
so they should,
This all goes into effect in a week.
Yeah.
Right.
and they should be able to provide that by November. I'm not kidding. So, so we're gonna have to do some figuring out. Does anyone have any questions on that one?
Oh, way too many to
Way too
bring up
many.
now.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
not, we don't have enough time.
That's fine. Next section. So that has to do with the ZBA timeline, so we can skip over that one. Section 75, Planning Board timeline. So when an application is deemed complete, so when the board deems that application complete, they have 65 days
From that point.
from that date to approve the application. And the old language in the RSA allowed the applicant to apply to the selectmen and get some sort of extensions on stuff. So some language has changed. So now this 65 days, the planning board needs to make their final decision by that date. And if you don't, before that expiration date, the board can either, so if there's still plans that need work, or there's still some stuff that needs to be submitted, and your 65 days is gonna run out, you can either ask the applicant to submit a waiver to the 65 days. Or if the applicant says, no, I don't want a waiver, the board has the ability to deny the application without prejudice and allow the applicant to come back in and start all over
Oh, that would be fun.
with fees and everything. So I guess that's the encouragement, to have the
Well,
applicant
that-
submit
it's
the
basically
waiver.
still been that anyway, right?
So it's either
It's really
submit
not
the waiver,
changed.
the board denies it, or an automatic approval occurs.
Right, but that's been that way anyhow, hasn't it?
And not so much. It hasn't been as strict. There were different
Okay.
changes before that.
Because I know we've asked for extensions and they've granted extensions over the
Yeah.
years.
But so now it's a very hard line.
But we have to explain that to the applicant. Is that
Right, so
it's
our
only with your
regulations are
eyes
gonna
open.
have to change. So now we need to update the regs.
Because if the applicant
And-
don't know it, and then all of a sudden he gets hit with redoing it all over again.
Right,
That's expensive.
exactly.
So that's gonna have to be
Spelled right out at the
spelled right
beginning.
out at the
Yeah,
very
on
beginning.
subdivisions, that could be a new application.
Right.
Would the state look for their per lot fee? That's,
I don't know.
those are questions we probably ought to,
Well, and that being said, with the way the state operates, you could be doing that every 65 days until they decide they want to approve their end of stuff.
yeah, that's exactly, because they charge you per
Every-
lot.
Yeah.
The state does. And that's not a little number. It's, last I knew it was like $700 or something like that a lot, isn't it? It's a fairly
Yeah, I think
beefy
it was like
number.
$500
Okay.
per lot, or yeah. but
It's
still.
not chicken feed.
No.
Especially if you have 20 lots or so.
The language that I was just telling you that was removed from that RSA is on the next page. It's in section 76. There was a 90-day extension that was allowed.
Okay,
But now it's not. They did away with it.
okay, that's what, yeah.
Yeah. So now it's 65 days or
Wow.
continue, approve, or deny. Let's see, what's next?
Modeled after Massachusetts Dover Amendment.
Right.
Well, that makes me all warm and fuzzy.
This next one, this section 76, that pertains to when appeals get to the Superior Court. That doesn't really pertain to the planning board.
77.
77, is that what I said?
No, you said 76, but that's okay.
Sorry. 77, so that's Superior Court. And then the next two, section 78 and 79 have to do with TIF districts, and we don't have TIF districts, so.
TIF?
What is
Yeah.
it, TIF?
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Tax
Tax increment
increment.
finance.
Wow, nice job.
Yeah, there's quite a few hoops to jump through to get that. Some certain municipalities is paying.
Yeah. So that was HB 1661. The next change took place in HB 1021. So HB 1021 now restricts municipalities from regulating churches or places of worship.
Religious.
So the only regulations that can apply to a site plan for a religious entity are items that are regulated by the state, like height, lot size, setbacks, a building envelope. And that's it.
So pretty much if you're a religious group, you got no rules.
Pretty much. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so
So
it
you
says,
can't regulate parking, like lighting, stormwater management.
yeah, so,
I don't
so
think
the
any of that
list, the
stuff.
list of stuff that we cannot enforce from
Yeah.
our zoning includes lighting, signs, noise, on-site and off-site drainage.
Yep.
Erosion, sediment control, layout of streets and sidewalks, utility design and installation, open space, pervious or impervious area, landscaping, parking, access management, etc.
I'm putting a cross on my roof.
That's what's gonna
What's
happen.
that?
They're all gonna,
Right. So this
It's
is,
gonna put crosses on our roofs.
that's what's,
this is another
the
addition
public worship. That's all they're gonna, yeah.
that I'm gonna add to the ZAC list. Because currently, there are some restrictions on zones for churches, and now they need to be allowed in all zones,
Wow.
which can be problematic in the future. So say, for example, someone wants to build a church in a residential zone. So now you have this commercial building in a residential zone that doesn't normally live. Church goes away. Now you're left with a commercial building in a residential zone.
That you can't do
Now, what do
anything
you do
with.
with it in the future? Does someone live in there, or now does some other commercial entity want to come in? Now you need to go to the ZBA to get a variance of some sort
It's
to
gonna make
allow
a
a
mess.
different
Business.
use in the middle of a,
Yeah, it's just gonna make a
So if the
mess.
church dissolves, there's no, that just sits there and
Don't
does.
have to tear it down.
no.
And
No,
it
it's-
stays
I don't, there
commercial.
was no like afterthought when this went into place. There's, so,
You said it
So-
stays commercial even if they.
Well, they'd have to
Well,
apply
no,
to
not
the ZBA.
necessarily. Yeah, they'd have to go before the ZBA for a
Right.
change in use, right?
Yeah.
And,
A special exception, basically.
yeah. Yeah.
but it's like forcing the ZBA to have to address it
Yeah,
in a roundabout way.
Is there any state legislation on any of those points?
that's what this is.
That's what this
Yeah.
is.
That's
This is
this
a
House
new,
bill.
this is a House bill that they just
Wh-
passed.
What might that do with the Christian Conference Center? Has anybody thought about that yet? Because
That's-
the town receives taxes from those cottages. They don't receive taxes on the land because it's church land.
Yep.
But the taxes, that each cottage is individually owned, and I believe that they pay property taxes on that. And then I know at one point back in the early to mid seventies, there was a big lawsuit between the town and the Camp Christian Conference Center because of that purpose. I don't think they were receiving any taxes at that point. So we
Yeah.
really need to look at that.
So I think the state needs to take another good hard look at this, but one of the key phrases in here is that it's used primarily for religious purposes. So I don't know if that cottage up at the Christian Conference Center is used primarily for religious purposes.
There'll be people that argue
Yeah,
that.
but define what your religious preference is.
Right.
though.
Right.
You could
So it
Right, what do
has
you
to be,
Say grace before dinner, there you go.
so the religious services has to be at least 51% of the time frame that
Okay.
building is used, and the building itself needs to be that 51% of the
Okay,
time.
so true church buildings
Yeah, yeah.
fall into effect.
Yeah.
Houses of
Really-
worship.
And I really encourage you guys to,
Read
you know,
this.
read this. I know
Yeah,
it's kind
I
of
went
like,
through, I highlighted this stuff
Yeah.
that scared me when I was reading through it. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paragraph scary right there.
yeah, it's all.
I was
so
gonna
it's all-
say, I see a
Yeah,
lot of-
you got the big yellow.
You should have put that in red.
Said it started off the Massachusetts Dover Amendment,
Yeah.
acted in 1950.
yeah. So there were many changes that took place. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, and there's, the rest of it was, actions that we need to take, and most of this stuff, that like the posting of the fees and all of that, you're already all over that.
Yeah,
And-
that's.
Yeah, that's-
yeah.
done
Actual
anyhow.
problem with that last one is there's really nothing we can do.
No,
The towns can't do anything about it.
No,
oh, it's force fed to you.
Your hand is forced for you.
Yeah, so they took away municipal control on that whole issue.
Yeah.
All right. And next item on the agenda, correspondence for board information, the legal deadline dates.
and we're always well ahead of those dates on meetings and such.
Any other business to come before the board? Anybody from the? Was that? Oh, yeah, we should
Yes.
review that.
Take care of Mark.
We should, yeah.
He's falling asleep over there.
I know.
Put both hands up and you'll stay
Exciting
awake.
stuff.
He's still here, so he hasn't changed his mind
So Mark.
yet.
You gotta take a test now to get on the board. Mark, if you'd like to come up and take a seat and introduce yourself. and-
If you raise both your hands and say amen, you're exempt.
It's nice to meet you guys. I'm Mark Manning. I live over on Woodlands. I've been in town since April of 2020.
All right.
Somewhere in the North Shore, probably looks of it.
Pardon me?
Somewhere in the North Shore, are you from?
I'm from Peabody, yeah.
Peabody? Grew up in Swampscott.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right. We probably have joint friends. then.
Maybe.
Maybe-
I've been out of
I
there.
might call them
I've been out
friends.
of there
Maybe you don't call
52
them
years
friends.
though.
And Mark already signed, he also signed up for Alternative Housing Committee and the ZAC Committee, correct? Is that the two?
I just got out of my business, so I have a little free time. Hopefully I can change that.
He wants to be one of those retired guys that nobody can work a schedule around because they're too busy.
The state controls me, by the way, not anybody in town. Anything that the state writes is what I'll respond to, just like a church.
So you engineer?
I am an electrical engineer.
All right. And then public health as well?
Yeah, I have a master's in health administration, which allows me to run a hospital if I ever wanted to. I never have. I apparently went to the University of Vermin.
Vermin.
Yeah, so we train rats, mice, and other things. It's in my end. And I now sit on the board of the University of Vermin.
So I take it that's UVM as you went
It's
to.
UVM.
All right.
Let's see. My son's an electrical engineer. He went to Wentworth.
Oh, good.
He has an electrical and mechanical.
So,
Just going for an alternate, right?
My son's
right,
mechanical.
going for an alternate, so has to attend 3 meetings.
3 meetings,
and-
yep.
And by announcing him at the start of this meeting, that counted as number 1. So, and then I think at the end of the 3 meetings, we can,
Yeah, at the end of the meeting night on the
On the
third.
third, you can vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
so what'd you think so far?
we were dealing with a lot of the same cases we dealt with in ZBA. So,
Mm.
Yeah.
I come in with some background. I don't have to read
Came
the
on
stuff
an easy
twice.
night.
Yeah,
You came on an easy
yeah,
night.
it's,
Yeah, this was.
yeah, it's a little after 7 o'clock and
the
we're
last
almost
two or
done.
three were-
10:30.
Yeah, you never get out this early. They're not all like this.
Well, that's great. I appreciate your interest and looking forward to it.
And welcome to Alton.
Yeah, because you don't get a whole lot of people chomping at the bit to do these.
You're gonna tell me why later, right?
No, you'll figure it out for yourself.
Now, did we tell them when the next meeting is? Did you?
Well, we did announce the September 20th for the continuance, so.
Right.
Okay.
Third Tuesday of the month.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that the 16th is the third Tuesday, but it is.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Yeah, look forward to working with you.
And public, anybody? No? Thank you.
We'll take that under advisement.
Yeah, you can twiddle on down to Concord and say, no, we don't like it.
I've heard a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At a record?
Wow.
Wow.
It-
Look at that.
Penny's not gonna know
That's
who's coming
twice
through
in
the
one
door.
week.